Aloha and welcome back to the guest list. Thank you again for being guests here today as we explore a little bit more about floral design. So today I'm really excited to welcome Yvonne from Yvonne Design here in Hawaii, who's going to talk to us all things floral. I'm personally really excited about this because one, Yvonne's been such an integral part of the hotel. She did a lot of our design, both in pre-opening and then also as we've been open with weddings and other events. So we're excited to chat with her today. And I used to be a floral designer way back in the day, and so I personally am just super excited to talk with Yvonne because I know how much fun it is to, be in the floral world, but it is a lot of hard work. And I want to make sure we talk about that a little bit today because it's not all about, sitting with beautiful blooms, though some days might feel that way, but a lot of days it's a lot of hard labor work. So a little bit about Yvonne. Yvonne's passion started at an early age. She actually had spent some time between her two families' floral design studios in Washington. And then when she was at University of Washington is where she realized that her passion for floral really took next level to bloom out, I guess you can say. She realized this amazing connection between floral and how it creates with the senses, right? So there's this emotion that comes in with floral, which I just love that she's into this. So, you recognize a floral and maybe it brings back a memory, maybe a scent or the touch. So that's really where her passion started to come in and realizing this connection of what floral does for people. She then worked in Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where she really realized that this is where she wanted to be, is in the floral world. And then she came back here to Hawaii, and in 2002, she started Yvonne Design Hawaii, and we are so happy that she is here, for sure. So Yvonne, there's two things that most people will mention when they hear about Yvonne. It's meticulous and perfectionist. And let me tell you, she is definitely both of those, and she puts all of her effort into every wedding and event design. So you definitely want to check out her work. You can go to YvonneDesignHawaii.com. YvonneDesign.com for her website, or Yvonne Design Hawaii for her Instagram. And if you can't find Yvonne working on a floral, she'll for sure be out on the hike enjoying Hawaii. She might be at the beach. And what's even great is that she loves spending a lot of time with her dog, Peanut. So if you go onto any of her social media channels, you'll definitely get a glimpse of Peanut, and it just brightens your day, I think. And then her spare time, she also likes to do styling, sketching, and hand lettering, which is really cool. It's a beautiful day here today, and we're just so excited to be outside enjoying the beautiful Hawaii weather. Again, today is an educational resource for you. So as you're planning, let us know what questions you have. Let us know if as we go along today with Yvonne, because we'd love to hear from you. And as always, we'd love to hear comments and feedbacks for future episodes. So let us know. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Amanda.
You look beautiful as always.
Oh,
thanks for joining us today. Of
Thanks
course.
for having me join you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you.
You know how much we love talking about weddings and flowers, so this is truly a treat.
Yes. Oh, me too, for sure. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. So, I was mentioning earlier, I know how much work goes into floral. Everyone thinks like you're just sitting there and there's like bed of roses, but it's not. Like there's a lot of physical labor to it, right? So tell me, like, what is your favorite thing about what you do?
Oh my gosh, favorite thing. I love so much about my work. It honestly feels more like playing than it does work. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with beautiful flowers on a daily basis, right? But I really feel blessed to be able to work with flowers. I absolutely love working with flowers because they bring so much joy and happiness, not only by their beauty, but by their fragrance. And if you look at each flower, each stem, it's so unique, so intricate, so detailed. I'm always in awe of flowers. I'm such a flower geek for sure. But yeah, I love working with so many different varieties, so many different colors. So, and that's what makes each wedding unique, because there's so many different combinations that we can put together. And it makes it exciting for us in the design studio because each week it's something completely new that we're working on. So, and it's not just working with flowers, but I love working with wedding couples as well. So from the start of the design process where we're dreaming all kinds of gorgeousness for their wedding to the end result where everything's in place and the bride's holding her bouquet, she's about to walk down the aisle. And I think that's probably my favorite moment of the wedding, actually. So all eyes are on the bride, but I actually like to watch the groom and see his reaction to seeing the bride for the first time in her dress. It's so emotional, so moving. I'm always prepared with my tissue box for sure.
Oh, I think we all are. That's for sure. That moment, it shows the real emotion of what's going on, right? Not just the event, but the truly what the couple is
Agreed.
doing.
Right, right.
Well, and your bouquets are great because they're in all the photos for years to come, which makes it so special. And I love, in your bio, you talk about how your passion about floral came in with this connection between the touch and the smell. And I think that's probably important for couples because they probably pick floral because of that, right? Like maybe roses were important to them or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. So
Right. It could be the first flower that the groom gave to her, or it could be their mother's or grandmother's favorite flower. So, definitely there's a lot of emotion involved, lots of memories.
definitely. So a lot of couples ask me, well, what should I budget for floral? And I know it's like such a range, I mean, you can really go from one end to the other, but what do you typically tell couples how to budget for floral?
So I think this really depends on how important flowers are to the couple. So on average, 8 to 10% of the wedding budget might be allocated to wedding flowers. But if flowers are very important to the couple and they find it a priority for their wedding, you could easily double this, so 15 to 20%. But as far as what items to prioritize within the wedding budget, I would start with areas that are considered more of a focal point. So the ceremony backdrop, the table where the bride and groom will be seated at. Could be a sweetheart table or a head table, and then where the guests will be seated at. So the dining table centerpieces. Now, I mean, there's so many places that you can have flowers at a wedding, right? I know you agree, Amanda.
Definitely.
I mean,
everywhere.
you could never have too many flowers at a wedding, in my opinion. Yes. But I would start with these places first, and then if the budget allows, then you can extend out into other areas. Like, extending down the aisle, you could enhance entrances, fun floral installations, or maybe it's just small floral touches all throughout the reception. But, there are some tricks to help with the floral budget, and this one's quite common. So a lot of times couples want to do something impressive for the ceremony backdrop as a focal point, and then have something special for the table that they're going to be seated at the reception. And they don't always have room in their budget to do something special and impressive for both of these areas. So I suggest taking what you've budgeted for these two areas and then combining that to create one impressive design, and that we can actually use at both locations. So at the ceremony first, and then after the ceremony, while your guests are at cocktail hour, we can transfer it to the reception and place it on your head table or your sweetheart table. And the nice thing about this is that your guests, they're at the cocktail hour, so they don't even know what's going on.
Right.
So your floral budget stays the same, but you get these two impressive designs. So, and that goes for all of your ceremony and decor. We can find ways to utilize it at the reception. So great way to save on the floral budget.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And it's green too, right? I mean, you're repurposing, you're reusing, and it's a nice use of for your photos, right? I mean, who wants it to go to waste after the ceremony? You get a chance to enjoy it.
Agree. Yes.
So I think that's a smart idea. And your designs that you do, I mean, I'd want them to be out all night. So for sure, it's a good use. Okay, so I know there's a lot of different types of designs. Some florists might, tend to be one type or another. So what do you typically, what should couples consider when they're looking for the right florist for them? Should they really be considering that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So definitely view their work online. You want to check out their website, of course, and then check out social media as well. You want to get a good sense of their style, because not every floral designer can transition from, let's say, a boho look to contemporary or European garden to minimalist design. So knowing that they have a similar aesthetic as you, I think is very important. But also reading up on current reviews. I think this is going to help eliminate any headaches or frustration during the planning process, knowing that other couples had a professional experience with them. So, how is their response time? Do they set up the wedding in a timely manner? How are the quality of the flowers, and did the designs actually resemble the inspiration photos? And there's so many platforms one can view these days: Wedding Wire, The Knot, Yelp. I mean, I'm sure there's so many more. But what also is important is experience, because with experience comes knowledge. So you want to make sure that your designer is knowledgeable, not only for the planning process of knowing what's going to be in season, so at the time of your wedding, so you know what to expect, but more importantly, knowing how specific flowers react to weather conditions. So as you know, we have a lot of weddings outdoors here in Hawaii. So we're dealing with heat, humidity, you know, oftentimes, not often, okay, I shouldn't say often, but sometimes rain.
Sure,
and wind, right? So knowing how
we're still outside, you never know.
Yes,
Mother
you just
Nature.
never know. So yeah, knowing how flowers are going to react, because it could be the difference of gorgeous flowers at your wedding or damaged or wilted flowers. So knowledge is very important.
Yeah, you definitely get what you pay for, right? So definitely do, I think, to your point, you know, the more research you do, and really trust where you're working with and what recommendations they have, or with your planner or your venue, because they will know who, you know, the best is within that area, wherever the wedding is at. Okay, so couples here in Hawaii are, you know, you're probably looking behind me, you're like, okay, there's so much lush green around Amanda. I mean, it should be just like plentiful floral everywhere. But we both know that a lot of flowers get shipped in here, unfortunately, and just as the nature of being on an island. So, you know, do you typically tell couples to plan for a specific type of floral for that reason? Or do you kind of let them choose whatever they think is best?
Right, so it depends on the couple. So it's true. We do grow so many gorgeous flowers here in Hawaii, but we're limited to tropical varieties like, you know, bird paradise, heliconia, ginger. So more of the masculine, colorful varieties. So if you're not wanting a tropical, vibrant wedding, then this wouldn't necessarily work for you. So we ship flowers in from not just the mainland, but from all over the world. So yeah, couples are a little surprised by that. But you know, what I find is that even though couples are getting married in this gorgeous tropical setting, they still favor the traditional classic flowers like roses, peonies, ranunculus, hydrangea. And, you know, and some are torn. Here we are in Hawaii. They feel like maybe they should go with a tropical wedding then, even though they favor the classic wedding flower. So I suggest going with what you favor. Go with what you love and what represents you as a couple. And then let's add in maybe a touch of tropical, or maybe it's adding an elegant Hawaii orchids or tropical foliage. So I think it's a good, yeah, a nice blend, a good compromise.
Definitely a nice balance. Okay, I bet everyone who's listening, there's probably like a majority of people watching that are like, okay, I love peonies. So if you love peonies, go ahead, send a little heart like, because I think it's everyone's favorite, right? I mean, it's got to be up there. The scent.
Everyone's favorite, yes. Unfortunate, the season's very short. So if you love them that much, you need to get married during that season.
Yeah. Okay, so I love to chat trends. You know, there's always the Pantone color of the year, which, you know, everyone always kind of tends towards, which, you know, tends to be kind of that color that people, you know, lean towards. It doesn't have to be, but it, you know, it's a big talking point. So, you know, color scheme tends to be a big topic of conversation with couples. What do you recommend for color scheme? I mean, should they tend to that, or should they pick what they want as well?
No, I say go with what makes you happy and what represents you as a couple, not necessarily what's trending or you think is expected. But I think what's important to do is open up a discussion with your floral designer and let him or her know what colors you're considering, so that you know what's going to be realistic flower-wise. Since not every flower is going to be available in every shade, so you could be limiting yourself to just a small variety of flowers. So, you know, be flexible about the exact hue, because it could be, you know, slightly toned down, or it could be a shade darker. So if you want to incorporate that specific color, I would say bring it in through stationery or bring it in through linen.
Good idea.
But no matter what your color scheme is, I think be visual with your floral designer, because if you're just discussing colors, we all interpret color a different way. So if you were to Google the color coral, so many shades would pop up, from light pinkish coral to orange coral to vibrant red coral. So being visual is important. And I think what's ideal is to reference the Pantone color library, so that there's no confusion.
That's a good idea. I mean, look, we're both wearing pink, but we have slightly different shades of pink, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It can make a big difference. Okay, so most ceremonies here have these amazing backdrops, like the background I have here, this gray, green foliage. What do you recommend to couples to integrate their design to fit with the natural surroundings, so it's not taking away from it?
Yeah, so you definitely have to consider the space that you're going to have your ceremony and what the background is. You want to feature a look that's going to stand out. You don't want it to blend in. So yeah, if you look behind you, it's so lush with greenery. So doing a ceremony arch that's all foliage is going to blend in. It's not going to stand out. So yeah, so you don't want to compete with the existing features. So the design should look natural, of course, in its environment, but also complement the space and not compete with it. And the main reason for the ceremony backdrop is to create a frame around the bride and the groom to make you two as a focus. So you don't want to have a design that's going to be overbearing or a distraction.
Definitely. No, that's a good point. Okay, so we mentioned a little bit earlier that you love to see the bride walking down the aisle, but more importantly, the groom's reaction, you know, which I think all of us agree. We all look towards him, right? You know, both of them, but him as well. So what is, besides that, I mean, what, do you have a favorite memory of a specific time with a wedding in the past that just, you know, you'll always remember and just kind of feels why, a little more important why you do what you do?
So many great memories just because there's so much emotion at a wedding. But I think what really stands out actually happens after the wedding. So couples come to me and they're asking me, what can we do with our flowers after the wedding? Because, you know, so many couples fly to Hawaii to get married. And then oftentimes the day after, they head on to their honeymoon and their family and their friends head back home. So, you know, what are we going to do with the flowers? Because no one wants to see them go to waste. That is completely traumatic. We don't want them to go in the trash. So they're asking, what can we donate the flowers? So, and that's a service that we offer. So it's a place that they're choosing, whether it be a hospital or a nursing home, retirement home, or even a church. So, you know, that special moment is when we deliver the flowers and we see the joy and see how much it brightens their day. And it's just so heartwarming and so moving. And so we like to place the flowers in their new environment and take video and photo and get the reaction of these people and you know, just how happy and how grateful they are. And we send it to the couple and they're just so thrilled that someone was able to enjoy the flowers even after their wedding.
Definitely. Oh, that's so nice. I didn't know you offered that service, and that's such an amazing touch. I mean, especially nowadays, right? Everyone's looking for a little bit of joy, and to have a floral arrangement, you know, unexpectedly delivered to you it would bring so much joy to somebody.
Right?
So,
I know.
great job.
Yeah, it's so special.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So you can check out Yvonne's work on YvonneDesign.com. Also, her Instagram is Yvonne Design Hawaii. So definitely check out both. And, you know, again, join us for future episodes. Our next one will actually be next week. So we're going to talk a little more about event lighting and a little more about the virtual hybrid wedding trend and just a touch about it and how that incorporates into AV. So definitely join us next week for that. Thanks, Yvonne. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you
Bye,
soon.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.